Und recording has started. Come on. You can do it. Exploit, you can do it. Oh, finally. Greetings and welcome to Die Drug and Die presents the Grimstone Chronicles Season 4, Episode 35. I am your DM and host, Marty, joined by the full Ontario crew. How is everyone doing on this fine Saturday? And breathe.
Good, good.
We're doing all right.
Yeah, let's get our mics to the
right levels.
right levels.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Something like that.
So
I'll adjust as we go.
my nephew,
Yes.
who's been playing D&D,
Cool.
for Christmas, he asked for D&D books, so he's now got all the D&D books. After there's a little bit of consultation of like,
Fifth ed, right?
it's fifth ed, yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
But there was the whole like, I understand that you like the cover of Spelljammer, you know, for whoever family member this was. This isn't quite the appropriate book for the kid who's just started out. Is 13. Like,
Probably not. No.
I like D&D. Here's Spelljammer. No.
Here's the weirdest shit you could possibly do.
So he
Mushroom
His-
orcs and giant space hamsters.
it's just all sorts of things. He was able to convince his school to start a D&D club. So one of their school clubs or school activities is this D&D club that's twice a week. And because the person they had lined up to DM it isn't able to do it now, he's DMing. So I got my first DM quandary or conundrum set of texts the other day where he's like, what do I do if my players aren't all in the same place? Uncle Adam, what do I do if my players aren't in the same place? I'm like, what do you mean they're not in the same place? They're like, you kind of guide them to the same place. Like, I assume they got like lost in the woods or something. He's like, no, they're in different cities. Like, how did they end up in different cities? Like we need some context. So he's got one of his players hunting chickens. And we'll ignore the hunting chickens part for a second. They just don't. Fine, we're hunting the chickens. It's fine. One guy, the druid, is off hunting chickens. Sounds like a druidy thing to do. And the rest of the party is on the adventure. Now, the thing is, it was like he started out with 2 different hooks to get into the story.
Yep.
And they split the party to do both hooks at the same time, but they didn't split it equally. They've got 5 guys going one way and 1 guy hunting chickens.
We 5 will do this. Steve, find us some chickens.
Yeah.
Figure out who's killing all the
We're
chickens.
eating poultry tonight.
Like, what's the disturbances of the local chickens, right? So I guided him through the whole, like, okay, now you're big bad evil guy, you can capture him, and then you do like the James Bond speech, and I gave him some ideas. It's like you can make him feel like he's part of the story while balancing this, but he kind of has to have something a little bit bad happen to him to kind of enforce that you're not supposed to split the party. Encourage them to go to get bad things happen to you when you're by yourself is generally the lesson, but not too bad because we're all going to have fun. You know, and then you can come up with he has the secret to help defeat the bad guy, and you can link it up to this demigod that you're planning on doing, right?
We went from chickens to demigods? Oh.
Well, he's got a plan. Always got a plan. He knows he has his demigod in mind, but he thinks it'll take a few months to get there. He's like, in 6 months we'll be there. It's like, it's going to be 2 years. That's fine.
Chickens to demigods might be a name of one of our episodes. Huh? I bend over to pick up the copper coin. Ha! God of trickery. What?
Yep. So it makes me happy.
That you get to play consultant to the young,
I'm playing consultant
young mind who wants to do structured imagination. Cool.
I've also got family members jamming through a backlog of hours and hours and hours of D&D. So every time there's our stuff. Yeah.
So I was describing our stream to somebody who also streams, and he's like, "You've been doing it for how long? How many hours do you do?" oh my goodness. He goes, isn't that a barrier to people to join the channel? I'm like, it sure is, but every once in a while we have one person that DMs me and says, I'm all caught up now. And it blows my mind every single time.
It's also weird too, because they show up and they know you, but you don't know anything about them aside from their persistence. They like D&D.
Welcome. You don't have to watch everything. I've seen some folks say, I've watched what I need to get caught up, and that's fine too. There's also the episode guides and stuff. But...
You can zip through combat. It's just every now and then you got to go. Oh shit! I got to go back. Someone actually fucking died.
Well, my
my
favorite feature is you play back at time and a half speed. Your brain can still pick up what's going on, and yeah. All of our voices probably sound a little funny at time and a half speed.
I find it's easier to watch at time and a half speed because then I don't try to respond to shit.
Yeah. Or you try to move the map. Or you try to move.
Adam. Huh?
Yeah. Well, the same thing happens to me at judo. There's two Adams in the class. One of them is like 7 or 6. And his belt's always untied. So there's always this like, Adam, tie your belt. And I'm like, oh, yes, sir. Fucking belt.
Damn it, small Adam. Get your shit together.
You're making us look bad.
Mini Adam.
I'll choke you.
All right.
Yeah, go cry to your dad. What's he gonna do?
All right. Any media nerdy shit that you guys been doing?
I went to see Cocaine Bear last night.
Oh,
How's that?
It's exactly what you think it is.
Slapstick. I like it.
It's
It's all I want.
It was gory and ridiculous, so that's all I wanted.
And it fits the B movie. It's like Mark's movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. You know what? And the CG bear wasn't that good. I'm like, perfect.
Like tossing around like a bear carpet or something like that.
I did see a trailer for a movie I kind of want to watch. It's called Velocipaster.
Yes. I saw that trailer as well when I was at the theater.
Yeah.
That looks like fun to me. I'm like, yep, sign me up. And Jessica's like, that's stupid. And it's like, yep, sign me up.
I am down with the pastor that is a were dinosaur.
A were Velociraptor? Yep. I'm down with this. I will take my money for the name alone.
Exactly. Yes. Well done.
I will have to look for it.
I have never heard of this one. I'm interested in seeing the 65 or 65 million or whatever it's called.
I heard it's decent. I haven't looked into it. It looked the preview looked like something I wanted to watch, and I heard it's kind of it does the job. Like,
does the job, like getting chased by dinosaurs sounds just fucking cool.
Yeah. It also looked neat in terms of like it just looked cool. The preview looked cool. It was engaging. Again, it looked like somebody had an idea. Or like, I want to do a newish thing. And then the big complaint is it's not really that newish.
No, the concept of like
Being
Planet of
chased
the
by
Apes.
Dinosaurs has been done by
Planet of the Apes.
one
You're
franchise,
doing
can't
space
remember what it's
stuff,
called.
and then you end up back in time.
Yeah.
You know, that's directly out of Planet of the Apes. Like you bastards or whatever. He yells
You
at
blew it
the
up. You damn dirter.
Right. Yeah. So that, and then Jurassic Park, but with modern CG, it'll be good. That's why I want
CG doesn't do it for me though anymore.
No?
No, it's a story. I want a story. My kids are the same. Good boys.
Every once in a while, visuals are cool. Like,
yeah. The Rings of Power kind of overdid it. Everybody's like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
They were trying to do a story, and it ended up being it's Lord of the Rings scenes.
Yeah,
like backdrops.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I was watching Jack Reacher.
There was no consequence. That was the problem that bugged me about many episodes of.
You've been watching Reacher?
Sorry, I put two shows together, Reacher and Jack Ryan. I was watching a show of Jack Ryan, and there was a scene where this guy was like, his family was missing or something, and he had a comb and had some hair in it. I was like, perfect, just scrying. I was like, oh yeah, you can't, you don't know that spell,
You don't
do
know
you?
that spell, do you? CIA boy.
I was like, there you go. You're solved. Show's done.
Stupid fighter
Show's
classes.
done.
There is this whole class of movies that in my brain where it's like they took one D&D spell and turned it into the concept for the movie. Like Jumper. What if a guy could teleport? You know, like
Yeah.
I think it was Jumper. Anyways, yeah, there's this whole So this one, you want a scrying movie. You want like telepaths, bits of fur, bits of hair, scrying.
You can make a hell of a movie with that.
Probably.
I started Baldur's Gate on the PlayStation, and as soon as I started, I'm like, okay, I definitely have to play this with Marty. But my son was with me, and we just started it 10 minutes into the actual game, but it took us 2 hours to roll the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Not good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough.
The worst thing
I
about
skipped
that.
something.
Oh shit! Oh, that was good, and I
skipped
accidentally because you get into the Oh shit! That was 18.
No, that was a 93.
Oh, the totals. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the percentile roll after the
Yeah, it's like, oh no, 1803. I wanted 18100.
So we did that, and then we built the characters. Really enjoyed that, and then we actually just spent like 20 minutes buying gear and then putting them on the characters.
Yep.
And like, okay, we've got like 63 gold left. Like, cool. We're still rich. We're still good to go. That was really fun. That's what was like, I really got to play this online. We really got to do this. It's really fun. We didn't even start anything yet.
What I would do is I'd create them offline. Don't ask how I got the good stats, and then import the character.
Well, this is on console.
You only rolled once for this. How did that happen?
Yeah. Hey, don't worry, I built you a nice paladin. It's all good.
You get to go.
18 charisma. Hey.
You get to go.
Yeah. There's like very little decisions. Like, what kind of weapon do you want to use? That's about it.
They're good. It was fun.
Cool. All right, so Cocaine Bear, Baldur's Gate.
Oh, Shadows of Mordor.
Mordor.
I remember I would have talked about it in the stream where I was like, it kind of got boring to me.
BRB, listening.
I'm playing the game properly, and it's way more engaging playing it properly. Also, probably helps that my computer absolutely crushes the specs for it as opposed to being barely good enough.
Yep.
So like the big fights where there was lots and lots of orcs doesn't slow down.
I've never played that game, but I know that it's got a very interesting like generative.
Yes.
It's
solution.
pretty remarkable.
The Nemesis system, where the NPCs that kill you, if a no-named orc kills you, it gets generated into a named orc. As those orcs, and like each of the orcs commanders in a region are fighting with each other, and if they win their fights against each other, they get more powerful until they become the leaders of the region, leaders of armies. And then there's a bunch of events tied to that, and it's auto-generating. And then when you kill an orc commander or captain, some of them will try to revenge you. So you'll be in the middle of doing something, and they'll be like, "Oh, I got you now, pink skin. You thought you got me," and they shows up for his revenge at inopportune times. Like, so there's like this, storytelling mechanic, kind of like Left 4 Dead, crossed with a little bit more personality. Like Left 4 Dead also had a storytelling mechanic, like, "Oh, you're doing too well.
Yep.
Let me just drop a captain on your ass. Let me drop some shit on you because you have too much resources."
Yeah, it's generative in that it's not like pre-scripted.
Yep.
And it may not be to the point where we could do the things that human brains can do while we're role-playing. But,
it's pretty remarkable. I played it when it first came out, and like you even through several playthroughs, it's like these are all new orcs. Like, what the hell?
It's a step up from the like branching dialogue tree and the pre-scripted encounter.
Yeah, it's all encounter based, and it gives me the strong urge for a good brace orc. The churchy to a 40k orc's voice.
He likes to play football with the heads of his enemies. I mean, backup characters, dude. Like,
That's probably a thing I should do at some point. I just like the voice, really.
Hey, there's worse reasons to create a character. All right, why don't we do a recap of what happened in the last couple of games? Yeah, we've got the big Bukowski and then Shamuzing. Quintessa visits a holy place dedicated to the Archmage of the Gods, Bakob. I really enjoyed that scene. She finds herself in the presence of 4 divine beings and is bestowed a mighty gift, along with little tidbits of information that mortals perhaps should not know. Using scrying magic, the party attempts to track down the infiltrator blue dragon Lenithon. They do so. They school him. They hand him over to the law. Barnabus, Thogrim, Widget, and Slake make camp outside the tomb of Didoris. They interrogate the former worm speaker Varan. Their rest is interrupted by a demonic force called the Balor of Slime.
That's a problem.
The party flees to the Tower of Summoning, where they cross paths with members of the Steelrose Squad. That was a fun scene. Widget preaches the virtues of shadow magic. Widget and Dassod, this is now crossover, visit the Bound to Please bookshop in search for books about doppelgangers and find a devilish duo waiting for Barnabus. Meanwhile, Sunny, Brennos, and Cog question Langdadrossa before taking him into their custody as a frilled lizard or something.
Mm-hmm.
Quintessa and Sunny argue over whether or not to bring back the evil dragon from the dead. And then the stream ended early as the video conference software servers were down.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they all like
And then there was no outro to the episode. So we're going to pick back up with that group on a boat sailing away from the Isle of Nephelis. They had just passed through the Halo and some of these Nephelin traders, merchants on their caravel are kind of just waiting for you guys to leave, or they're willing to bring you to the mainland if you want to go that far. I'm just going to hop to the conversation layer where all the tokens are, and I'll force you guys there.
Is the shoreline in sight, or is it like way out there?
I think it's way out there. It's your visibility is probably 24 miles, and there's 60-mile hexes, and there's at least one hex between the isle and the shore, so it's way out there. So there was a break as Quintessa is walking up along the deck, and Sunny's fidgeting with the animals. Like the argument just sort of you guys just cooled off a little bit.
So, your silence in this matter is affirmation or no opinion?
You will not raise that dragon again. If you do, you will be a criminal in the Empire. Do you understand me?
You notice.
I was hoping the lack of context would drive this conversation in a slightly different fashion.
You notice Agony's his dark lips pierce back to like a white grin, like he's grimacing when he's listening to the argument, but he's not saying anything. You can't tell whether he's grinning at you or if he's like grimacing.
Sunny has. I'm going to make a vial of Nefexti bits. That is. Sorry, I'm saying Nefexi. That's not the right dragon. I might have been.
Lenithon. Yeah.
I might have been looking at my prep notes. Yeah, I've got. So I'm going to just make a note here. They are gentle reposed.
Okay.
Because we can consider it again later. We can talk about. So Sunny, who has no bluff. I understand. He's not. He understands the words with which you are saying, like that level of understanding.
Do you understand that if that dragon should appear, whether by your hand or not, you will be held accountable?
Yes, if that blue dragon appears.
She's trying to sense motive on what you mean. You being very specific. she's no Barnabus, so I don't remember that much.
Where's your angel friend? Agony says to Brennos.
Getting her memories back. I mean, she's spent a long time in the sword.
Do you think that's wise? Maybe she was in there as a punishment.
Very possible. But this blade has seen things and been places. And if she can remember where it's been, then I can go and tread along the right path.
Interesting.
Agony. I know you... Things are complicated. There are many gods.
He looks down at the jumble of holy symbols. Only because you made it so.
Many gods talk. Some of them talk back, others don't.
You know you don't have to listen. It's a choice each and every time.
It is a choice each and every time, but if nobody listens to them, then what happens to them?
They go away.
They agreed. They go away.
That's not always a bad thing.
It's a heritage or history. This is what she's holding up like a jumble of holy symbol. This is us.
This is all the Dwarven pantheon that you're
This is
holding
the
up?
Dwarven pantheon.
Okay.
And this is the dragons.
Is Tiamat's symbol amongst the dragon
Yes.
gods? Okay.
Yeah.
Is Garrick's amongst, like, are all of them in there?
All of them are in there, yeah. Brennos doesn't. Brennos has. Brennos, I don't know if he currently has. Tiamat, Halal, Astrabor, Bahamut, Astridian.
Brennos doesn't know any better. Got it.
Uger, Deepwera, like in terms of like he's more careful about making certain he notes the evil ones.
Yep.
Garrick's would be in there if he had one. If you knew what a Garrick's one is, I'd take it. Throw it in there. Shit needs to get burned once in a while. You know, sometimes you gotta let your
For whatever reason,
freaky fire flag fly.
for whatever reason, Agony seems pleased by that statement.
There's a time for building, time for destroying. If there wasn't a time for it, then why would it be? It's right because it is. Sonny is distracted. Now's the time to talk about the. Oh no, it's right because it is, and it is because it be, and it be because it did.
Oh,
You know, you're
that's
making
what
no
poets
sense,
call
really.
a word salad. It means nothing.
Absolutely. Hey, Vox, what's up? Sorry.
Not a big fan of salad. I like salad. Yeah,
And Sonny, there's no way you can bring that dragon back. You represent us. We all work together. Anything that any of us does reflects on all of us. You can't do that.
yes, I
Simply cannot.
I cannot bring back the old blue dragon. It is beyond my power.
Sonny, you cannot bring back that thing that used to be the dragon. In any form.
I think he's got you there.
I don't have to agree. Obviously not like hiding, like he's not trying to like sleight of hand. He's just
Should we go back to Dennovar?
probably.
Which prisoner are we handing over?
Well, aren't we supposed to find a freedom somewhere first to get back the one they really want?
Unless the Imperial Administrator can help us with that, or
that's
Thogrim's Master, you mentioned?
Aye. Or we could go to Jamala. But we should kill the free her from her prison of her own, I don't know, being tricked.
I suppose.
Oh.
I do believe killing this Sortian was on your agenda anyway, was it not?
It's my 3 o'clock.
Just kind of raises an eyebrow and like, yeah, it sounds like you.
Well, if we go back to Dennovar, we can check to see if they have the magics for us, as well as try to spy upon the Sortian.
Let's then. I agree.
Do you need to do anything with your wayward, a rather important family's son? What are we doing with him?
Remind me what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What are we doing with the dwarf? Sorry, I'm in the wrong.
Get
I
the zip.
Wrong
apologize.
party. Yeah.
I've got my parties backwards, and I'm confused. Brennos got hit in the head, and he's talking silly. Don't worry about it.
Have a seat, Brennos. You're still tired.
I don't like boots. No boots. Alright, so we're gonna use spells and get off the bloody boat, right?
We can teleport now. We're past the halo.
Do we want to see the shoreline
Why?
to know what it looks like?
Agony was there already, right? He arrived.
Yeah. He was hanging out there.
It's like a tropical shoreline. There were birds
If we,
and
if
rocks.
you share the memory as required, then in case we need to teleport there. That's like
I don't know if Agony's got share memory. A second.
We do have two of the unlimited teleporting things. One that Agony's got, and the other one that we picked up with the main dragon.
No, Agony has not picked up share memory. It's a thing that he should.
Sonny can cast it if he needs to.
Yep.
Just if we need to later.
Fine. Yeah, he's fine with sharing the memory.
Right. So back to Dennovar.
Yeah, he basically teleported. He trekked for 5 minutes through like a light, kind of very green, not quite jungle, but just sort of like tropical, southern temperate, like light forest. And then he got to some rocks and a rocky beach. There were a lot of seabirds, and then he teleported away. So,
Right, well, I wouldn't mind going to Dennovar first, simply because it'll be a few days before my armor's ready. And obviously, I like my armor. I'm not a big fan of the boot.
yeah, they said that your angel friend
Would return it. Yeah.
would contact you.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, jeez, he's look amazing. All right, apologies. So, two teleport groups or one, although I don't know that I can reach the destination in one go.
Okay, Agony can greater teleport. 15th level caster, he can bring 5.
With the prisoners, it's
2,
not enough.
3, 4.
But they're small, so don't they count as half?
No.
Can't we just throw them in a bag of holding? Just pull them out when we get there?
Yeah, technically.
There's
Technically,
enough.
we
There
can.
would be enough air if you pull them out right away. Then yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
do it.
So Cog suggests that being an alchemist, he kind of understands how much air, like how quickly the air would become unbreathable for small things.
Yeah,
you're
they
able to
should
make
be
that
able to
calculation.
survive.
Yeah.
All right. The power of magic.
Okay. Scooping up the Langdodrossa lizard and the blue frog Sahuagin.
So who just had like custom 6-circle spells? It's like, yes.
You stick them in a bag of holding, and you end up back in Dennovar.
Yep.
We don't have Dennovar on this map. Let me just drop down a token for who's there.
Now, I am having a hard time segmenting information in my brain. The southern group thinks no, it's the northern group that knew there was an attack coming. The southern group did not get that piece of information. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we shouldn't use northern and southern because we've got multiple. We've already used that one. It's the Barnabans and the Sunites.
There's the league and the squad.
There's the league and the squad, and then the league went into Team Sunny and Team Barnabas.
Yep. All right, you return to Dennovar. Quickly, you realize that there seems to be stuff going about. One of the guards mentions when you return to that same conference room where you originally left from, that Widget was here a short while ago.
Ah, it means a little bastard one, didn't he? What did he ask for?
They handed over a prisoner.
Did they find the dwarf?
Yep, the one guard, the shaky lieutenant. I forget his name. Give me a second. Oh, Lieutenant Scritch. There we go. With a couple of guards. Yes. Oh! You startled me. Yes, they were here briefly. Widget was here with some vagrant. I'm not too sure who he was.
Walt.
No, he was with Vilder. He was here with some. He was here with some man. I assumed. Anyways, he might have been important. An ally, perhaps. I don't know. I didn't get to talk to him. And things are busy around here.
We're looking for a scroll of freedom. But what? Like, why are things suddenly so busy? One of the ambassadors choking a grape.
Oh, they're not so busy around here, but things aren't very good out west.
How far out west?
Far enough, the other side of the mountains. The majocracy of Gigas Subterra is, they're going through a bit of a rebellion at this point. I think,
Sunny has this, like, you can see the full spectrum of, like, tittery, boyish emotion go across his, like, he does the full spectrum of, it's shocking, it's funny, it's, it's lewd, it's all the things.
There's talk of the Imperium accepting refugees.
Refugees from the majocracy. Who's in charge there now?
That's well above my pay grade.
It's not above my pay grade. I'm not even paid. I don't think I have one. Who is it within the grade of?
Oh, the Imperial Administrator would likely know such things, but you were sent to. Do you have a prisoner? He sees the two, like the frog and the lizard. Thinks for a moment.
Yes.
Shall we take them into custody?
if it makes you feel better, yes. For temporarily, don't harm them. We'll hand them over.
One of these,
No, she's currently stuck in an imprisonment. We need a freedom scroll for that. But these are the colleagues. What would you call them? Co-conspirators.
One of them's a dragon, so be very careful if someone decides to reverse their mistakes.
I see.
Who's that? Booja, 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 booja. Ooh, like little buggy wuggies.
We will treat them as if they are dangerous. Fetch a box with a lock on it, with a small hole, and he's now managing how to move these little critters around.
Okay. All right. So the Imperial Administrator and whomever is maybe the delegate from the Majocracy. They might know something. Are they still here?
You could go look.
Yeah, we're gonna. Sonny's gonna start old manning his way around the building. He's the leader of the Majocracy. He's the ambassador of the Majocracy in this room. Is basically how he's gonna. Have you seen the ambassador of the Majocrats?
That's funny.
This is his approach.
All right, give me a second here. I'm looking for the tokens.
Conversation layer.
I'm on conversation, but I'm seeing if I can find these people. Actually, I'm just going to switch to the Dennovar map. That will be easier.
That might be easier. It might be easier.
All right, so it's this group that's there with Quintessa. Val is gone, and this group is off doing something else. All right, give me a D4.
All right. 3.
And a diplomacy check as you're
Yeah, basically knowledge locally.
no, you're searching for, you're like asking around and trying to find people, and you're looking exclusively for the
ambassador of the Majocracy,
right.
or the lady. Either one. I wouldn't be upset with the other one either. 29.
Okay, you end up bursting into a chamber that you saw a couple of guards standing outside of. The guards were wearing different. They looked slightly distracted for a moment, like they were going to. They walked down the hall to grab something to eat. They're like, "Hey!" Sonny bursts into a room. Let me get a token for this. The guards did not look like they were part of the Imperium. Mm-hmm. They looked more like knights in heavy armor. Let me go to the war room and find.
Hello.
Back to the Dennovar city map. I'm going to drop a token down. And then let me find his guards.
Is that a tiefling or like a satyr? thing's amazing looking.
It's like a tiefling.
I'm jealous of his horns. They're amazing. See, that is not the armor of somebody I would typically refer to as the good guy. When you kill a small child by giving them a hug.
Slake.
You hear this as you go barging in.
Hello.
Your group, I guess, was just down the hallway as well. Slake is not with you. He's with the other group. Sonny's running ahead and being all...
Looking for the major.
looking for it. There's a man in a conference chamber. It does look like a prayer mat had been put out, and you do see some candles and some accoutrements placed on the edge of one of the at the edge of one of the conference tables. There's incense in the room that's got a bit of kind of like a cinnamon spice to it.
Ooh, lovely. Hello.
The man rises from his knees. He was in the middle of prayer. There's a pursed smile that crosses his face.
I am Sonny. I am looking for the ambassador of the Majocracy.
He's now like trying to read your face. I am an ambassador.
Oh, lovely. I am Sonny, a druid of Volcanica. Pleasure to meet you.
Druid of Volcanica.
Yes, of course.
These soldiers, Brennos and Cog, you see that the soldiers come here. Hey, what are you doing in here? It is all right. This is the Druid of Volcanica. Please
Hello.
sit.
Sonny will sit.
Okay.
Cog is going to, or Brennos is going to elbow Cog and just be like, get within a move action of the room.
Yeah. Okay. So they do turn around when they see Brennos coming, and please.
Have you seen our old man?
He's in discussion with the ambassador. Wait your turn.
Perfect. We'll wait right here.
All right, they've closed the door, and now their hands are on the pommels of their swords.
Make it clear he has no authority to negotiate on our behalf.
Hello.
I've read reports about you.
Oh. Interesting. Did they say anything flattering?
He smiles. You know how to get word out.
Of course.
Very interesting power. Very interesting.
Yeah, I really do like magic. We heard word that there is issues at the Majocracy currently, and that refugees might be coming this way.
Oh, yes. Wizards are so renowned for their greed in material wealth. It has finally gotten to their heads. So many subjects, so many people that are chafing under their rule. It was bound to happen. Such an empire cannot be built on such a unstable foundation. Faith can build empires. Look at the Imperium. They are a wonderful example of this.
Faith is important.
Yeah.
Magic is important. People are important. They make kind of a circle, a symbiosis between all things.
Yes, you understand this. Druids tend to rule over the small villages where they have their circles because no one can stand up to their power, and they work together for their own aims.
To the ends of Volcanica.
Volcanica. Does it speak to you? Is there some spirit of Volcanica that I'm not aware of?
She doesn't speak to me the same way the weave speaks. It has a holy symbol, the pattern in the weave.
Oh.
But she does communicate.
You're one of them. He's looking at your holy symbol.
Does he have a holy symbol of some sort?
Yeah, there's a giant...
Big screw-off Asmodean holy symbol?
Yeah, there's a big red holy symbol of Asmodeus, which is like the pentagram? Or, give me a second. Asmodeus.
It's like classic devil symbol stuff. You would be Vanilla Devil.
Well, the devil. The ruler of the hells that did become a god.
Yeah. The upside down pentagram.
Yeah, I'm just checking to see if Pathfinder has the same. It is a 5-pointed star pointed down. This appears to be made out of like a reddish crystal hanging from a gold chain on his neck.
I would have thought the ambassador of the Magocracy would have been a wizard of some sort.
I'm not the ambassador of the Magocracy. I'm the ambassador of the Theocracy.
Oh,
You were the one who just barged in here.
Well, all right. I understand why you wouldn't know. Have the with the.
Oh, we know what our mage friends lack. They're subjects that wish the archfiend to be at the pinnacle of power in their domain.
Do they have many kobolds?
Oh, yes. Their primary task for the Imperium is to look after the populations of kobolds to make sure that they are complacent and productive. Apparently, they failed at this task. Do not worry. The kobolds that are under the Theocracy's supervision are much more compliant, much more faithful.
Historically, weren't the kobolds more worshippers of Tiamat?
Oh, no, their little god died.
Kurulmak, yes.
Yes.
I mean, before that.
Rid of Volcanica. Give me a sense motive.
Yeah, let's do a roll, because this is one of those, like, Barnabus is somewhere having intense heartburn right now. Somebody stop him! The thing is, if we tell them where the stuff is, they'll go treasure. They'll have gone there too. They will bring their treasure up their warriors with them.
Dungeon treasure's good.
30?
He seems a little bit guarded about it, but you don't know.
Well, I believe I made the message clear to all, and all of those who like existing here should probably know. Tiamat's child is likely being birthed under the remains of the Amalgamons volcano, where many kobolds were sacrificed through the guile of an old gnomish god and the death of a kobold god.
Interesting. What brought you to this conclusion?
Volcanica told me.
Volcanica told you.
Yes, Volcanica told me. Our geographer filled in some of the blanks.
Okay, you notice that he does have. He's got like a raven in the room. It was in this little covered area. It kind of like when you heard this, or at that point in time, it came out and flew up onto a little perch. It's speaking familiar speak. He just waves it off.
Wizarding has its uses. So he has like it gives them kind of the knowing.
Oh, this is not a wizard familiar. This is more of a bond.
Is it actually a raven or is it an imp?
Yes.
Sonny gives like a shrug of like, either way, it's fine by me. I guess.
There are rewards to faithful service. Perhaps the Majocracy forgot this. There must be rewards and punishment, the carrot and the stick. Too much of one and not enough of the other creates all sorts of problems.
Balance, yes.
Balance.
I suspect our definitions of balance are slightly different, but the concept is the same.
Oh, most definitely. Druid and follower of patterns.
They speak to me. As Volcanica speaks to me.
I would like to know more about this Volcanica spirit. It is not something that we were taught. It was not something that was listed amongst the things that require management. Nor under our list of enemies. Do you have a treatise or perhaps something written down that I could read?
Give me 1 second.
Or are you using the word Volcanica as a replacement for nature itself? Is Volcanica a new god or an old? So many questions I have swirling around my brain.
It is a being in life force in itself. Would I classify it as a god? That is an interesting... Does she care about the individuals upon her? Yes. Does she derive power from them? No. But there is a harmony that needs to exist. It might be druidic philosophy mushed through the language of mortal man.
I see.
Resulting in a construct. Although it does speak pretty plainly if you listen to it.
Things have become so obtuse with the arrival of the new gods. So concerning. Although there is much room to operate when there isn't a deity breathing down your neck. I envy you. May I be whipped 1,000 times for these thoughts in the pit.
Seems a little excessive. We are, in terms of the...
Do not worry. I am a priest of high enough station that I am allowed to entertain, especially as an ambassador, different viewpoints, at least from a philosophical and theoretical discussion. But I will flog myself later to purge myself of such evil.
Might I ask a simple question?
You just did.
Might I ask a second one? After this one.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite animal?
He considers it for a moment. I've always been fond of, ferrets.
Interesting. They're very agile, they're good at hiding, they solve problems,
Some people say
secrets.
that their musk is annoying. I never had that problem. My nose smells things different than that of humans. I had several of them when I was a child.
We travel with an Asmodean tiefling.
Oh?
Oh,
Ah. You speak of the one... Wait. You're part of the Steelrose Expeditionary League.
I thought that would have already been in your...
I was so looking forward to meeting your group, but you did not appear at the War Council meeting.
Oh, we already knew the locations with which to solve problems, so
I
we
see.
went and solved them.
You missed all of the fun about the ambassador from the Majocracy having to fess up about his country being in disarray. It was very pleasing to see him choke on his own words.
Do you know where he is now?
He's in here somewhere, arranging the rights of enclave within the Imperium. Perhaps there might be a bunch of wizards here soon.
I am conflicted.
Yes.
While I do really enjoy magic, and wizards are a grand source of magic, the crumbling of their society by non-magical influence seems highly strange.
Kobolds know magic. Just because they're small does not mean they can't bark out the secrets of the weave.
Kobolds are mighty. Mighty in number and mighty in spirit. They are the one of the few true inhabitants of Volcanica. Not, interlopers.
The leaders of the Grand Infernal Basilica have always known this. Faith is the true power of this world, not magic.
He just kind of does the little triangle thing. What in the same? Pleasure to meet you. Apologies for barging in.
Which side is Volcanica on? You get the feeling that the answer to this is very dangerous, one way or another.
Existence.
Should Tiamat return to her world, or should she stay in hell?
I am of the opinion that Tiamat should stay in hell. I've not seen anything to suggest her physically returning here to be a good thing for existing. I may be persuaded otherwise in the future. Show me evidence. Show me.
Yeah, give me.
Explain to me exactly why it's a good thing.
You're trying to be diplomatic, and you're like towing the line, sort of like you're on both sides a little bit. You're like,
Well,
I don't want her to come back, but I could change my mind.
So in Sunny's view, it's like if Tiamat not being in hell will help existence beat non-existence, then yes, right? Like if the options are, I don't know, let's say Volcanica gets eaten by the abyss, or Tiamat comes back and anchors this point in the plains with her godness. He would rather have Volcanica anchored in hell than floating in the abyss, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's so, but the default answer is no. There's no shit there. Status quo was pretty good before we started dicking around.
Okay, you find you're having a hard time reading this guy?
That's right.
You don't know if that answer pleased him or not, but he took note of it.
That's fine. Give me 1 second here.
All right, Sonny's been in there for a while. What are the people out in the hallway are doing?
Oh, Quintessa just took off. She's
Right,
going to
okay.
get a drink.
Sonny, hurry up. We've got things to
She's
do.
more than happy to let Sunny. So, Sunny's gonna Sunny, so just let it happen.
Alright, so that armor fit nice. Brennos is there in an angel robe.
The two guards glance at each other.
He's basically standing there looking like in an angelic bathrobe. So, you got names?
They
I'm Brennos.
There's
They
just
call me the Bearded.
they are Stonewall guards. They're paying attention to you.
Okay, what do they have for weapons?
One of them is gonna probably draw a longsword. The other one is clutching onto the haft of a heavy flail.
Okay, Brennos is going to...
They've got bucklers, so they're gonna probably fight two-headed.
Cool. Yeah. We're gonna step aside. It's long enough. Step aside.
They like flinch in that like they're not stepping aside. They're probably a moment away from drawing their weapons.
Step aside, or I'm stepping you aside for you.
Calm down, Brennos. It's just, hey, Sonny,
All right,
there's gonna be a fight out here. Don't take too long.
Oh, did you hear that?
Your friends seem impatient. Don't worry, I'm an ambassador. I represent the theocracy of Infernus. Nothing will happen to you here.
Just letting you know, Brennos is gonna kill a few people.
I never said I'd kill anyone. I'm just going to move them.
Well, you can't control yourself. One backhand and most of them split in half.
Perhaps we should speak again at a future date. This has been most enlightening.
I think you would enjoy the company of our geographer.
Perhaps. I'm not sure who that is.
Oh, he's very good at geography. Very good.
Okay, he just seems to accept your statements. He doesn't quite realize you're talking about Barnabus, but he gets up, he invites you to leave. He doesn't shake your hand or anything like that, but he gives a slight bow. The guards do hear like the door moving, and they step aside.
Anything all right there?
Sonny is just walking out.
Oh, we just had a pleasant chat. I had the wrong ambassador. Apparently, I must have said theocracy when I meant majorocracy when they pointed me down this way. They're very interesting people in there. He's slightly grumpy, but that's all right.
Quintessa, when you walked off and were heading back to one of the chambers, you bump into Yazel, the Imperial Administrator.
She's quickly downing wine.
Okay. I didn't realize you had returned, says Yazel as she walks in. She closes
Apologies.
the door. She sits down at the conference table and just starts rubbing her temples.
Oh, you've had a day too, have you?
Quite the day, she says. She makes a motion like pour me a glass. The two of you are friends, so hey, old lady is drinking wine.
She pours her a full, unladylike glass. As my wife says, Keep it classy. This one is not classy.
Okay. Iziel looks at it. She was about to say something. She shrugged slightly and then begins to sip on the wine glass. She doesn't down it all into one. Things have gotten notably worse. How was your time in Nephelis, she says?
Well, we succeeded in stopping the attacks by Brennos killed a dragon that was probably one step from godhood, single-handedly, and we need a scroll of freedom to release their prisoner. And Sunny is arguing with me about bringing back a dragon that is both murderous and evil.
They are definitely a bunch of odd ducks. Powerful. It became very apparent that being on their side and being able to coax them in the right direction was the proper thing to do. Elsia Vale has always attracted those who don't quite fit in imperial standards. She lets that trail off. That kind of describes Quintessa and her religion and the relationship with the Imperium.
Suppose.
Which is part of the Vale's strength. Dwarves, elves, men working together.
Has the other half of our little league reported in yet?
Yes, they've handed over Varam, one of the worm speakers. Our interrogations will reveal more information for sure. He has already hinted that there are infiltrators within the Vale. We will uncover them.
Well, at least he's useful.
Brennos
Brennos is going to be upset.
I did not get a chance to speak to Widget, though. We are very busy making preparations for refugees.
What happened?
Apparently any wizard who can teleport is preparing, or if not has already done so, left the Magocracy. There's a great amount of chaos. Kobolds are rising up.
She just kind of nods, like...
Yep. This has to do with the death of Kurtelmak and the rise of Tiamat.
Oh, I have a gift for you.
Hmm?
She removes her mantle
Okay.
and hands it to her friend.
This is the 70,000 gold piece item that makes you...
50,000.
Oh, okay.
Rich people.
You work so hard for this.
I
She
don't
looks at
need
you
it.
after you took it off.
Yep.
Nothing's
changed.
Nothing's changed. How?
She shows her the ruby dagger.
That looks important.
It's the ruby dagger of Weejas. I am to return it to her.
The ruby dagger.
I believe so, yes. And it might have been a fever dream or something, but I believe I found myself in the presence of some of the old gods of magic.
Really?
Bakob, Zagig, and Demir.
What was the name of that guy? So I created a token. I don't know if I wrote his name down. Deneb?
Deneb. And Deneb. I fear whatever happened with Kurtlemak is just the beginning.
Deleb, sorry.
Deleb.
Yep.
I fear whatever happened with Kurtlemak is just the beginning.
The beginning of what?
Years of upheaval. The universe rearranging itself, its order. Bad things are coming our way.
I've never quite understood the draw of priests to gods. It feels like there's just another family of messed up creatures that are more powerful than us.
Oftentimes it is. Certainly seemed that way to me.
This is too mighty of a gift, she says.
It will soothe your aches.
She nods. A freedom scroll. While it will be difficult to find, not impossible and nowhere near the value of this.
If we have wizard refugees coming in, perhaps some of them would like to express their gratitude.
Occasionally the Magocracy does establish enclaves. They like to keep to themselves, but they also like to peddle their wares.
I've heard of them, yes. Never been to one, mind you.
You need the scroll to free Macath, which means that this has a direct... directly involved with the orders that were given to your band. I will see if we can procure such a scroll. Aragathos owes me more than a few favors. I don't know if I want the Magocracy or the Theocracy involved. We want the information from Macath first, before handing her over.
Oh, without question.
Your goddess.
And I'm assuming with the Magocracy in a state of complete disarray, from what I hear, we'll be handing her over to the Theocracy.
Those negotiations have not been completed. Having her in custody will increase our leverage.
We'll get her.
Where are you going to meet your goddess? Do you have to travel?
Yes, to Tarak.
Tarak?
She nods.
Tarak is undergoing some of its own problems at the moment.
So Widget tells me.
The heart of one of their continents is being eaten by shadows. Yet, the idiots in charge there still are fiddling and playing their gladiatorial games.
Fools.
Cities have disappeared there. Shadows are spawning undead.
It is the nature of shadows. But
This is something different. Shadows tend to not spread very far. If one community does get infected, yes, but these ones are being driven from one community to the next.
Widget described them as a army rolling over the land.
An army with purpose. I've received a few reports from there. Travel to Tarak is restricted via the Song Gates.
Widget assures me there are other ways.
Yes. Widget. Widget saved one of my one of my visages in the shadow plane. He's a very unassuming member of your league.
Perhaps the least assuming. Still, he is more than capable.
A shadowcaster, still dangerous.
So far, he's shown no signs of betrayal, at least to the League. I'm keeping an eye on him.
As I imagine one who worships the gods that you do should.
Of course.
If you need me to pull some strings to use the Songgate,
I'll let you know, but I don't think it'll come to that.
I should at least get you some travel papers, just in case someone questions why you're on the world and
I'd
not
very
where
much
you're supposed to
appreciate
be,
that.
she says. And I still owe you. She takes the vest thing. Is it a vest?
It's a, I think it's a shoulder slot item.
Shoulder?
Yeah. Mantle. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Nope.
I'll expect some written reports about the dealings in the Nephalese
Sorry,
Island.
it's a chest item.
Chest?
Chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chest item.
I'll expect I look forward to reading the reports from the League about their excursion to the Nephalese Isle. Check back in a few days, or I'll send a message when and if I can find a freedom scroll. It will take at least 3 days.
I think I will head home for a time, see what's going on in my own lands. Sure, everything is running well. I've not been there in some time, and I must also visit the temple.
I don't see your son with you.
He had to make a report to the prince.
Well, good of them to leave me out of that. She seems a little annoyed.
Well, I'm sure His Highness, in his infinite wisdom, has his reasons. The sarcasm dripping off that statement.
She thinks long and hard, and then takes instead of saying anything, takes another sip from the overfull goblet.
You met him, you know.
She drains some of it and is still thinking. I am curious to know how he thinks about the current situation on Volcanica, but I am not in a very big hurry to go to his court and ask.
I doubt anyone is.
There are many problems when you rule with fear.
I agree.
Be careful with that one.
I will. Take care of yourself.
He's
Gives her
not.
a hug.
Yeah, he's not still making you go to his court.
He's not requested. Oh, he has requested my presence once. I got away with sending a report.
It is not the first time he's demanded the impossible and punished people for not achieving it.
Did you hear what he did with our deacon?
She looks away like she's a little bit guilty. She nods and gives you another hug. I heard. I also heard that your flock has grown.
Yes, so many have decided to convert. It's Very refreshing.
If you need help with that, let me know. Although you have a lot of space there. Is it called Silver Glen or
Silver.
forget what you're.
Where's my background? Here we go.
The note at Lancel Glen, County of Pritoline. You
Yep.
have a lot of space there at Lancel Glen, but eventually it may become obvious.
Well, we could set up shrines about.
If you continue to serve El Silverio so well, we may have to get permits for additional shrines. Uh-oh. Did the internet floof again? Internet.
And he's back.
There we go.
Internet. Is it doing that thing?
It did a thing, but it's okay now.
We'll see. If you serve, is the stream still running? Yeah.
For me, it's now in the circling wheel of doom,
Yep.
and it's down.
Okay. Let me stop